Okay, a little update on my yard situation. And you have to excuse me because I have my whitening trays in my teeth and I have another 30 minutes, so you may not be able to hear me as well. As clearly normally. And I have my son videoing this time because I can't use the tools and video. But what I did want to say is I wanted to show you the spots that I have seeded. Some of it seed, most of it I went over with side plugs. Of course, my grass is centipede, like I showed you guys before. It's coming along well. We had a good rain yesterday, so that really helped. And I'm continuing to water it. You got to water it like 3 times a day for the 3 weeks or something like that. I'm right at the end of that window. Something else I wanted to tell you is kind of take a look at my grass. Show my grass over there. What we have here, a couple things I want to tell you. Oh my God, Kalinga. My worst nightmare in the yard. Let me see if I can find some for you. It's hard to see. It's a nut sedge is what it is. And you have to just about feel around in your grass. And you can tell I'm not a video YouTuber or whatever because I'm never prepared. But you feel around in your grass and I'll show you a spot. Oh, here's some right. No. Yeah, here's some right here. Can you get in right here? Do you see this? It's like you've got a long stem, you've got a little, I guess this is called a nut, and you got 3 little leaves that protrude from it, okay? That is your lawn enemy. Your generic broadcasts or broadleaf herbicides are not going to kill this. And one of the reasons that I have this, well, the main reason I have it so rampantly in my yard, is because I'm having to irrigate so much because of all this seeding and sodding and all the stuff I'm having to do from my damage that I incurred from the winter after it snowed with my thatch buildup. So anyway, that led to what I said I never had in my yard, weeds. Guess what I have in my yard now? Weeds. And these are a monster to kill. So I actually sprayed this 1 week ago and you cannot see anything, you cannot tell. Nothing is even brown except over this way. Take a look at this beautiful mass. Okay, amongst the sea of green, you have brown. Now, this is Kalinga, and this is brown, and you might ask, why is this the only brown spot that immediately turned brown within 24 hours in my entire yard if I sprayed, not a blanket spray, but almost, like I say, a 3/4 or a 50% spot spray in my yard. This is because, and I knew this was a possibility, this was new grass. This was newly seeded grass. Little young grass that is very tender. Now generally you have a 6 week window to spray tender grass seedlings. They need to be 6 years old before you, I always pull these out, before you spray them. This was right at the 6 week window. Why it really couldn't take the herbicide as well. So but that's okay because you still see you got Bermuda grass creeping under here, which is not my predominant grass. My predominant grass is centipede, but there's a mix of Bermuda. I mowed yesterday, so you're not going to see as many weeds. What I was going to tell you about this, it's okay that it takes out the little grass, the new grass, because you've got to get rid of the Kalinga. Because if you don't get rid of the Kalinga, it's going to take over your grass, and it's hard to kill. So the fact that it did this to my new grass is cool. What I did is I came out here every day, and I come out here every day and I spray with my hose. That helps it. And you mow over it. All right. So I'm still in a situation where it'd be hard to mow, not so much over here, but over here because of all my activity going on. So what I have, it's one of my favorite new items, is a Fiskar 18-inch rotary mower. So I mowed yesterday, and I'm going to show you. Now I watered over here, so you don't want to do it when it's wet. Although this is a push manual reel mower. It cuts like scissors if you want to get down there close to it. It's metal on metal. This ain't your grandpa's push rotary mower. You've got height adjustment right here. I have mine at the highest. I think that's right at the highest setting. Yes, I think it is at the highest setting. You can adjust the settings. That's kind of a new thing on these kind of mowers. But the cool thing about it is, I was out here, I think was it yesterday when it stormed? I think it was yesterday or the day before. I was out here right before the lightning started. And you can jump out here, come out here anytime. And I just spent like 10 minutes going over my grass. It's lightweight. And you can see the grass clippings going up. You're not going to see a whole lot because I just did this yesterday. Okay. So this is my cool new choice, and I love it. Now, I'm not sure what kind of cut this is going to give me, and you always want to go make a path back over where you just left, because the cutting is on an outer cast, so you want to kind of overlap. The verdict's it's still kind of out to see what kind of mowing this is going to lead to, but if you look at my yard right now, you see that it's looking pretty good. And look, this is no fertilizer. I have not fertilized, and I didn't fertilize anything this year except for, I hit my head, the starter fertilizer seed that I put on my seedlings over here. That's the only startup fertilizer just around those where I planted the new grass. No fertilizer has touched this yard in a year, and I think last year I only fertilized one time. And even though at the beginning of spring, green up, everybody's yard looked good except mine for several reasons. Green yard, my new established green yard. He's my neighbor. He's outside a lot like me. Green yard, except mine. But here's the thing: centipede grass does not like fertilizer. Okay. Now I will tell you this: I did send off a soil sample to see what I did need, if anything, on my grass, and I messed up the soil sample. I can't believe I did it. I got too carried away with my little tools. I did not go deep enough in my soil. I did my tit samples sporadically on my different levels, did all that, mixed it up right. If I do another soil sample, I'll show you how to do it correctly. So I'm learning. This is trial and error. So what I'm doing on my yard now is like a big project. By next year, I will have it down, I think, okay? Now, one thing I'll let you know about this herbicide that I don't know if I said herbicide. It's got to be, you cannot spray something like Weed Be Gone on nutsedge on the grassy weeds, because it's not going to do anything. You have to have a grass or nutsedge, grass weed or nutsedge killer. But look, so you're kind of limited on your choices. Are we recording? Okay, but be real careful, because this is one of those bait and switch. You got to watch these companies. Look at the active ingredient right here: ammonium salt of imazaquin, which is what's supposed to be in this product. I don't think I bought another one, but there's another one that I almost bought yesterday at Tractor Supply. Two different kinds of image. Guess what? Neither one of them had that first ingredient. In fact, they had two ingredients I never even heard of. Other ingredients, 98.7%, which I think is okay, which basically you have 98% of God knows what, and 1% of whatever you need, which is fine. The other two nutsedges that I picked up, they make image, looks like this. It says for nutsedge, but it has two other primary ingredients, of which I have never heard, so I do not trust it. So I put it right back on the shelf, and I thought I need to Google that. You got to watch these companies. Of course, I have no makeup on. All right, so I went back and I read, and I thought, oh my God, I can't. This has been a week since I sprayed, and I see hardly any brown. Only brown I see is on my new grass. So I went back and looked on the label, which is, you got to do that on everything you apply. Even though you think you know everything about the ingredient, you got to read every label front to back. I highlight mine in yellow, actually. That's just bang on me as I am. This takes like 3 weeks to brown up and kill your Kalinga, which is okay. But next time, I may have to do a second application for my Kalinga or my nutsedge. I'm either going to use the rest of what I got and call it a season, or I'm just going to go ahead and invest in another herbicide. And I'll tell you, I'll talk. I don't know if I want to go. I'll talk about what I may spray next time. It's one or two. I haven't decided yet. But anyway, you do not have to put chemicals. The only chemicals I put on my grass are an occasional broadleaf spray, and that's only for spurge. And I've got most of mine up, so it's hard for me to find these weeds. And I'm going to tell you, I pull 90% of my weeds. And look, when you see stolons like this running across your yard, I grab them. All right, let's come down here. I have the most down here because my water goes down. The weeds I have are generally come about because of too much irrigation. All right, you see this? Okay, my spray is working well on this. See how it's turning yellow? And so it's, you see any green around, any newer? So you can see what it looks like before it's sprayed. My yard was full of that. So you see it around here. Okay, this is new in my neighbor's yard. Get close to that. This is called spurge. It's probably going to be pretty rampant in our area. This is my neighbor's yard, so I'm not going to pull it. But what you do, if you find it when you're young, pull the suckers out. The best thing you could do for weeds is two things. Number one, pull it by hand. Of course, you can't do that with Kalinga, which is why I hate it. All right, number two, keep your other grass healthy because the grass and the weeds are going to be competing for turf. If you keep your grass healthy, generally, you keep your grass unhealthy and you have little bare spots like that, then the weeds are going to probably take over. If not, it's going to be, it's going to be hand-to-hand combat. The only other thing, a couple of spot sprays on my spurge of Weed Be Gone. That's just a hand spray. I showed it to you a second ago. That's all I put. I put no fertilizer other than you see the green spots. That's from where I had put new seed down, and you have to, or I don't know. They say when you put new seeds down, you really need to do that. But otherwise, you do not have to spray ferticide or put down ferticide and all that on your yard. You don't have to. Don't blanket chemicals. Centipede does not like applications of almost anything. Okay. One thing. So I'm mowing my manual mower. I've not mowed around there like that. Now I've got it on the highest setting, so it's not going to be a pretty mow just yet because you never cut off more than a third of a blade at a time. You do that, you're messing your grass up. So even if you have to get down here, now it'll miss what I'm doing with this bad boy, fist guards. All right, other thing we'll tell you. So that's the completely manually mowed lawn. And we'll show on the other side. I did that yesterday. I mowed that side. Since I found out yesterday that one of my last, not my last, if you're watching this, one of my last yard guys took off with my weed eater, my steel industrial weed eater attachment. So it's okay because I had this baby as backup. I think I just grabbed it at Home Depot. So what this is, never seen it, is a manual edger. Okay, so all I've been doing, and I've got, this is kind of new. I can't stand grass clippings in my edge. Is go along like this, and I've been doing it for most of the harvest done, and just edge it manually, and it's really easy. You don't have to work to keep a line or anything because these metal tongs or whatever they are go down into the grooves. And so you can, in fact, I did do it. I was going to say you could do it blindfolded. I just about did last night because on the end it was about 9 o'clock before I came in, and I was basically feeling my way. But you can see, if you have these kind of backup tools, actually I'm using them as my predominant tools just to play, see how this works. And save money. You don't have to worry about gas. You don't have to worry about cord. You don't have to worry about waking up your neighbors early in the morning, mixing stuff, repairing stuff. Pull these babies out when you want to do. You might want to do one edge at 8 o'clock in the morning, another edge at 6 o'clock in the evening. Around here with 100 whatever heat index, I wouldn't be doing, although I'm bad about it, coming out here at 3 in the afternoon. I was out here yesterday at 3 in the afternoon doing this. So you see, I had a lot of grass on my edge because I had seed over here. So this is a good option. You don't have to have all the tools. See? Fancy tools to have a nice yard. You can kind of see, look at the edge right here. See how thick my turf is? You can see right here. And this is, I did this at 9 o'clock last night. This edge right here. So just kind of give them a glimpse of my yard. Still a work in progress. I'll come back and let you know when I take my flags up and I completely, I completely get this done. But the main theme of this video is, number one, you don't have to have chemicals, at least on a centipede lawn in the south, to have a good yard. In fact, more people probably do more damage to centipede by putting chemicals on it, over-fertilizing, and over-watering. You only need 1 inch of water per week. We got probably 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, I don't know how long, in that downpour the other day. So I don't really have to water for maybe 2 weeks because it accumulates until my grass shows me if brown spots come up or whatever and I see it's wilting. That tells me, okay, I'm thirsty just like a kid. It's time to water me. Don't overwater. Don't put blanket herbicides down and just spot spray unless you have a blanket weed problem. And then you can have these old school tools. That's me, old school. The more you know.